Alright guys, welcome back to Smart Mania. This is our first official episode. As you can see here, I am flying solo for the time being. My lovely wife Andrea unfortunately has come down with a cold, a sore throat, sick to her stomach kind of thing, so she will not be joining me for this part of the show. She will make an appearance later so that we can go over the upcoming Royal Rumble going on. But for now, it's just me, and let's get into it. Let's go over just a little bit of news for what's been going on in some wrestling this week. I just got some short WWE news to go over. First thing, you may have heard by now, I'm sure you have heard by now, that Enzo Amore has been fired from the WWE following some rape accusations, sexual misconduct accusations that were brought against him by a woman on Twitter. He was promptly fired after that news came out. He is denying it, so no matter what you think about the situation, he has already been fired. And that's the kind of thing that's going to be going on forward. But the big news that I want to talk about, and the way you'll see how I'm going to tie these things in here in a second, is Vince McMahon announcing that he is bringing back the XFL. He tried this once in the past, trying his own football league. It only lasted 1 year and failed, but he has decided to go ahead and do it again. There was rumors that maybe he was going to try to buy the Carolina Panthers because it is rumored that they're going to be up for sale, but it looks like that's not going to happen. He's gonna just make his own league with the XFL. He probably knows his chances of buying the Carolina Panthers weren't good. Vince McMahon is a really rich man, but the way the NFL works, you have to, you also have to be approved by the other owners. And I don't know if the other owners were gonna, be all excited to have a WWE guy as an owner in the NFL. So Vince McMahon does what Vince McMahon does. He just does it himself and starts his own league. But the way I'm going to tie this into the Enzo Amore news is, what Vince McMahon says he's planning to do. He's going to start it out with 8 teams in the league. He's going to be owning all the teams. The first time around, there was a lot of gimmicks in the game. He said he's done with that. And because he is going to be the sole owner, he has control over all the teams. He's going to, not deal with any sort of criminal activity, he says. In the announcement, he said even down to DUI, he's not going to let those people in the league. I think he's saying that now. It looks good. That's going to be really tough to deal with. But, if there's any kind of indication with the way he handled Enzo Amore, maybe he will handle the XFL the same way with anybody that has, any sort of sexual assault sort of allegations against them, which has been an issue for a number of years now for the NFL, and the way the optics look for that, and it drawing negative attention. So Vince McMahon, since he'll have control over the team, he'll be able to control that sort of thing. He can just get rid of somebody if some sort of problem arises. Now again, like I said, DUIs, I don't know if he can get down all the way down to that. And then no matter what you think about this next situation as well, he says he's not going to allow players to take a knee during the national anthem, no matter what you think on either side of that, whether you like it or you don't like it. I think it's going to be tough for him to police that kind of thing as well. I mean, sure, yeah, he can kick somebody out for doing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stop somebody from doing it. That they could just, knowing they're going to get kicked out if if they got something that they want to, say something about, they can go ahead and do it anyway and then get kicked out. And they'll, I think that would make it even more negative news for the XFL if Vince McMahon takes a hard stance against it and says it's not going to be allowed, because once the first person does do it, and somebody will, if they have something they really want to speak out against, that just makes it that much bigger of a deal, since Vince McMahon said he won't allow it in his league. It'll just draw that much more negative attention to the situation. They'll say, oh, well, I thought you said this, you weren't going to let this happen, and now look, somebody's going ahead and doing it. So I think he's, can get around it other ways. He can set up punishments, but we'll see how he deals with it and how the league deals with it once something like that actually arises. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's get our news now, and let's talk about what we watched. I say we watched, I'm the only one here, but I say we watched because this is stuff that me and Andrea did watch together. Again, she's not here at the moment because she is feeling sick, but we did watch all these shows together this week. We watched Raw 25, we watched SmackDown this week, and we just finished watching NXT Takeover in Philadelphia. Man, that was great fun. So I'll go over all those shows real quick. I really want to talk about the NXT Takeover because we just finished watching that, and that was a great show, great show. I don't watch the NXT all the time, but now that I'm doing this show, I plan on watching it more often. So I don't know a whole lot of the backstory behind a lot of the characters that were wrestling in tonight's matches, but I'll tell you what, the performances done by all the wrestlers in tonight's matches were top notch. So it makes me excited to start watching NXT more regularly now. So I'll just kind of go over what we just had here. First up, we watched the Authors of Pain go against Authors of Pain came out with their manager Paul Ellering, and they went against Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly from the Undisputed Era for the Tag Team Championship. And in that match, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly won and retained the belts. Again, not knowing much about any of the characters in NXT or their storylines, just from what I could tell in the match, I mean, they had a good match, but I wasn't very excited for the match. During the match, I was rooting for the Authors of Pain. Two big dudes, buff dudes, I like watching that kind of thing, two big guys. I thought they should have taken those other, this Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly guy down. And I thought there was a couple times during the matches where that was going to happen, and they were going to be apparently the tag team champions. So they would have been tag team champions of NXT. It would have been their third time if they would have won it. So I guess they've already held the titles twice before, and they look like guys that should be holding the titles. They performed really well. Next up, right after that, we had Velveteen Dream versus Cassius Ohno. With Velveteen Dream getting the win there. Again, oh man, this was a fun match to watch. I've watched Velveteen Dream, I believe, once before in an NXT show that I've watched. Not watching a lot in the past. I liked him in the match that I watched before. It was a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. He's a really good in-ring performer. Cassius Ohno, also a really good in-ring performer. I thought their match was a great match. A lot of fun to watch. I'm glad Velveteen Dream got the win, and I hope to see more from him, a lot more from him in the future. And I hope to see more from both of these guys. I like Cassius Ohno too, but I really like the way that Velveteen Dream is going, and seems like he's really coming along and going to be, a good performer for a long time to come. Next up, we had Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Title Championship. And this was a great match as well. I'm a big fan of Ember Moon. I like the way she performs. I like her energy. She's super charismatic. real fiery. She gets me fired up to be watching the match. So, I'm glad for her. She got the win. Shayna Baszler, she's really good too. Her being former mixed martial artist, for real, fighter. She's playing the whole dirty character coming over from MMA, and she's, doing a whole bunch of like choke moves and stomping on people's arms. I like that sort of physicality, and I like seeing this sort of physicality from women's wrestling. As you guys know from the intro episode, I watched wrestling, for the good first, 20 years of my life, and then for the past 10 years, I, didn't hardly ever watch it all, except for maybe a match here or two there when I'd randomly come across it. But I really like where the women's division how it's come along since the last time I've been watching it back in the day, where they were just bra and panty matches and Jerry King Lawler yelling puppies. But man, I like where we are now. I like Shayna Baszler. I like her, like I said, the physicality they have. Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon. Oh man, what a good physical match. I mean, I'd put that up near the top of any of the men's matches that I've seen since I started watching this past year. It was a good match, high stakes, a lot of big moves in that match. It was fun to watch, and I hope to see a lot more from both of these characters in the future as well. Ember Moon, I definitely, I think, she's already too big for NXT. You got to get her up to the WWE roster and get her on the main show. She's just fun to watch. Okay, next up, in NXT Takeover Philadelphia, we had Aleister Black versus Adam Cole in an Extreme Rules match. There was some real nice, performances in this as well. I really like this Aleister Black character. He was really fun to watch. I liked his whole intro thing he's got going on. He's another guy I've only ever watched once before. I don't know if I've ever seen Adam Cole in a match, but I like Aleister Black. I like what he does. This match saw a lot of really big stunts going on in this match, obviously, because it was an Extreme Rules match. So they're bringing out chairs. Oh man, the one where Adam Cole puts the two backs of the chairs together, the steel chairs together, but then Aleister Black makes a comeback, picks him up, and drops his back on the the parts of the chairs that come together like this. He dropped his back right on there like that. Oh man, that looked painful. Oh, that's a hard bump, man. What they do in these sort of matches to entertain us, it's amazing. The only thing I didn't really like about this match was, a couple of guys came out and interrupted the match. I felt like that kind of took away from the match. Technically you can, because it was an Extreme Rules match. There was no disqualifications during this match. But I felt like it kind of took away. I felt like the two guys, Adam Cole and Aleister Black, were putting on a good show. You didn't really need to have, some guys come in and interrupt the match. But I mean, still overall, it was a great match. A lot of great things you saw. I like the way, I like the other move where Aleister Black was climbing the ropes. Adam Cole threw the chair at him, then kicked the chair in his face, and then Aleister Black fell off the top ropes there, out of the ring, onto two tables, broke both the tables. That was cool. And then later on, when Aleister Black had Adam Cole, he threw him on the announcer's table and then jumped on him, both knees landing down on him, breaking the announcer's desk. That was a pretty cool move too. So it was still a fun match. I just wish we didn't have that little interruption there. Get a little sip of water here. And then in the main event, we had Johnny Gargano versus Andre Cien Almas for the NXT title, for the NXT Championship. Almas won this match. This was another match. Man, it was an exciting match, really fun to watch. I liked the performances going on in here. Both of these guys, you know, putting up some good high-flying moves as well. Again, not knowing a lot about these guys, I don't know if I've actually watched either of these guys in an actual match before. I know I've seen Almas in a promo before while I came, was watching part of a NXT show before, but I don't think I've ever actually watched him wrestle. But they were a really good match. I'd say this match and the match between Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon, I want to say these two matches were at the top of the show for me. All the matches were really good, but I'm actually having a hard time deciding right now which match I actually liked more. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. I like that match the best of all the matches all night. It was really fun to watch. Like I said, I really like the physicality that they're going for. You know, sometimes you feel like, with women in all different categories, across different jobs, they feel like, they've been held back for a long time. So I feel like, sometimes these women are coming out like they really got something to prove. They want to show that they're just as good as men, so they, it puts little extra motivation in them, and they're putting on really great matches right now, and I really like what we saw from the women's division in the NXT Takeover tonight. Now let's talk about what else we watched this week. Earlier this week, we watched the SmackDown. The SmackDown was an interesting show. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best. I'll just kind of go over what we had here. So with SmackDown, to open it up, we had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens start out by cutting a promo. Then AJ Styles comes out, interrupts them, and then Daniel Bryan comes out as well. When AJ Styles came out, he suggested that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both fight him that night in a one-on-one match each, back-to-back. And then Daniel Bryan came out. AJ Styles didn't give him a chance to speak, and AJ Styles just told him he would accept the match. Right after that, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan were cutting a promo where Daniel Bryan says that's not what he was going to do, but that's what AJ Styles said he was going to do, so they go ahead and let the match be. Next up, we had the Usos. Jey Uso, the Usos came out, and then it was Jey Uso versus Chad Gable, with Shelton and Benjamin accompanying him to the ring. Man, anytime the Usos are performing, I'm loving it. I know they're tag team guys, but man, these are other guys that, these guys have an amazing physicality, charisma inside the ring. I love their performances. They're great. They're some of my favorite guys in all of WWE right now, based on their in-ring performances. And they're a tag team. Usually you're looking through a single guy, but man, I love the Usos. I love the way they perform. I'd like to see more singles matches for the both of them, just to see what they can do on their own. But I love their tag team that they got going on right now as well. In the end, though, in this match, Chad Gable won. I'm not a big fan of Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, so that is what it is. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura cut a promo, and Baron Corbin interrupts. They're talking about Royal Rumble. I love Shinsuke Nakamura, and I can't stand Baron Corbin. So this was just so for me. I'll be rooting for Shinsuke Nakamura during Royal Rumble. Baron Corbin, could care less. I am not a big fan of what they got going on with this character. Not a big fan of his look. Guy needs to cut his hair. Does he realize he's balding? He's got super long hair. in the back, but he's all bald in the front. Don't look good, man. Change your look. Do something, because it don't look good. Next, after that, we had Naomi versus Liv Morgan. And that was a lot of fun. Naomi got the win here, and then after the win, the Riot Squad comes out and attacks. Then Natalya comes out, Becky Lynch comes out. A bunch of women wrestlers come out. They start fighting, and then they start throwing each other over the top rope. Everybody's getting excited about the Women's Royal Rumble. Then, woo! Charlotte comes out. She interrupts. She lets everybody know that, oh yeah, that looks real cute what you guys are doing there, but it doesn't count. The Royal Rumble is this Sunday, and if you guys, whoever wins, if you want to choose to fight me for the championship, you got something coming for you at WrestleMania. So I like that. I'm a big fan of Charlotte. I like the legacy there that she's got going on with Ric Flair being her dad as well. It was a lot of fun. Then after that, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Again, I'm not a big fan of Baron Corbin. He is a big guy, but even for being a big guy, he's 6'8", whatever. But there's a lot of stuff I just don't feel like he's not the same kind of big that other bigs have. Like, with his physicality, I don't feel like he does any great, special, powerful moves that that really impress me. The one thing that he did that was good was when he gave Shinsuke Nakamura this big, huge clothesline, sending Nakamura flipping over. That was a really good performance, but I feel like it was more, Nakamura getting that move over and making it look good. I want to say that's how good Shinsuke Nakamura is. Like, he's so good, he made Baron Corbin look good. So Shinsuke Nakamura's got to be phenomenal. I don't want to diss on the guy too bad, Baron Corbin. I'm just not a big fan of what I've seen so far in the last year from what I've been watching. I'm sure he's a good performer and that he's a good guy. They just need to get something else going on with him, because I don't like the whole thing, what they got going there. What else did we get after that? Then, after that we had New Day with Bobby Roode go against Jinder Mahal, Rusev, and Aiden English. New Day and Bobby Roode getting the win there. I'm a big fan of Bobby Roode. I mean, how could you not be with music like that? You gotta love it. I'm also a big fan of New Day. How could you not be a big fan of New Day with the music they got? They got all the dancing going on. They got the bootios. They got the pancakes. Having a good time. Hugging everybody. You gotta love it. So I'm glad to see that win there. New Day is another group of wrestlers that I really love their performances in the ring. The rest of them, Bobby Roode, I like what he's got going on, I like his entrance, like his music. I'd say he's, middle of the pack in ring performances for my favorites of what I got going on right now, but I still really like him. And then we got Jinder Mahal. He's another guy that, he's a really big guy, but, I just feel like he still needs to refine his in-ring performance. So what we got going on there. Rusev, he's okay as well. And then Aiden English. I mean, it's funny to watch Aiden English wrestle. Sometimes he actually throws some guys around, which really surprises me. The guy is so tall and so skinny that he looks so skinny when he's in there. It's like you could see his ribs. I'm like, I don't know how he has the strength to lift any of those other big guys up, but somehow he does it. That guy needs to get in the gym and put some meat on his bones, because he's way too skinny to, be getting slammed around like that. Every time I see him get slammed and I see his skinny little ribs, I'm always afraid for him that he's going to be getting broken in there. So, And it's kind of fun to get him tossed around, but I would say this was the best match of the night by far because, just not the greatest performers in there. Then we got, next up, we had the next two matches were the AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, and then AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. This being the exact opposite of the last match, AJ Styles being one of the best in-ring performers in the business right now, as well as Kevin Owens. I really like Kevin Owens, and then Sami Zayn is pretty good as well. And in the first match, we had AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. Right before the match, when AJ Styles had already come out, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn start coming out together. Boom, Shane McMahon comes out, says, "Nope, Sami Zayn, get out of here. You're banned from the ringside during Kevin Owens' match, and then Kevin Owens, you're banned from ringside during Sami Zayn's match." They get all upset about that. Boom, the match gets started. AJ Styles, he makes pretty quick work of Kevin Owens, in my eyes. Beat him, got him in the leg lock, wrenches it, doesn't let go. Man, injuring Kevin Owens' leg. And then Sami Zayn's got to come out and, attack AJ Styles just to free Kevin Owens from AJ Styles. AJ Styles earlier in the night saying that not only was he going to win, but he was going to hurt them. And AJ Styles living up to that promise during that match against Kevin Owens. And then next up, AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. After they finally got everything settled down, they finally rung the bell and got that match officially started. And then, Kevin Owens, even though he was banned from ringside, he's still on ringside because the doctors are looking at his leg. They're trying to get him in a stretcher. He's, on ringside being hurt real bad. And, it didn't quite work out for AJ Styles there because he kept getting distracted, wanting to attack Kevin Owens. Finally, at the end of the match, boom, he's getting distracted, going over and attacking Kevin Owens again, and then Sami Zayn takes advantage and wins the match. So, hopefully at Royal Rumble when AJ Styles has to fight against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in a 2-on-1 handicap match for the WWE Championship, AJ Styles is going to be able to keep his focus and not go too crazy, and we're not going to be looking at the first ever co-champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Just between you and me, not only because I don't want to see AJ Styles lose, but I don't want to see them as co-champions either. I think that just sounds like a really dumb idea to have co-champions if that was a storyline that we had to deal with. Nobody wants to deal with that, so hopefully that is not going to be what happened. I don't expect that to happen at all whatsoever, but since it's something that's set up, I guess it's possible, so hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm afraid it would. Alright, let's go on here. That was the SmackDown show. Now let's get to Raw 25. Now there's been a lot said about Raw 25 since Raw 25 happened. I know it was split between Madison Square Garden and the Barclays Center. So, right there, from what I've read on reports online, that a lot of fans weren't too happy with that because a lot of fans were paying big money, especially people at the Barclays Center. I mean, they got to see Undertaker, they got to see DX. They got to see some cool things, but they weren't really excited that there wasn't a lot else to the match. And the same thing over at the main show. I'm hearing a lot of fans weren't happy who were there because again, they paid a lot of big money. There weren't a lot of matches. I don't know what people were expecting exactly in the first place. Anyways, it was a celebration, so there's going to be a lot more time to bring back the old wrestlers, so you can give some time to celebrate them and celebrate the past and how they got there and why we love the show that we got. So I'm grateful anyways that we got to see what we saw, and we got to see some people brought back who haven't been around for years. That was a lot of fun for me, just watching it from my perspective, watching it on TV. But let's kind of go over what they had here, and then I'll kind of mention at the end what I thought about it overall. So boom, to open up the show, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, they open the show. And then after the thank you video is over, Vince McMahon gets introduced. He's given a plaque. You know, Shane McMahon, Steph McMahon, they're like, oh yeah, we crowdsourced and, you know, got some money, and boom, we're giving you a plaque. And then Vince McMahon does his classic, yeah, this is what you give me, a plaque. I gave you 25 years of entertainment and I get a plaque. Oh man, I love Vince McMahon. I love the early days of Raw, and him just being the way he is. He really plays it up well. Good to see him doing that. Then boom, my favorite of all time, probably for me, boom, the glass breaks. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out and interrupts. You know, they're all saying how they had, you know, they're thankful for each other. You know, Stephanie McMahon gets out of the ring. She doesn't want no part of it, obviously. Boom. After all the fake pleasantries or whatever, Stone Cold Steve Austin, boom, does a stunner on Shane McMahon. You know, he's tossing beers all over the place, flipping the bird, double bird, loving it, having a good time. Boom. You know, he's shaking hands. Him and Vince McMahon share a beer. They hug. Vince McMahon starts to walk away. I think maybe this was a little bit of flub here. I don't know if Vince McMahon was supposed to start to walk away, because he all of a sudden stops, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to get stunnered here. But anyways, he turns back around. Boom. Steve Austin gives him the Stone Cold Stunner, gets in his face, flipping the bird, drinking beers. Oh man, it brought back the feelings of my old days when I was a kid watching Raw on Monday night, every week. I mean, that was the Attitude Era. That was the era I grew up in that I loved to watch. Man, it brought back instantly, right at the beginning of the show, brought back great feelings. Okay. Then right after that, we get the Undertaker promo. Right after that, he comes out of the ring. He's in the Undertaker garb. He gives a speech, and it's time for all the others to finally rest in peace forever. Kind of cryptic message there. I don't know what they were trying to get at with that, but it is what it was. I mean, for me, if I would have been there as a fan, I would have been just excited that I got to see Undertaker, in character, in the ring. Even though he didn't wrestle or have a match, it would have been fun there to see that. Again, when I first came back to wrestling, watching it regularly, full-time again, was at last year's WrestleMania when he had his retirement match. And so for him to come back and do that for the first thing since then, I think that's pretty cool. Next thing that they did after that, they had general manager promo where they brought back, they brought out all the general managers. Eric Bischoff came out. Everybody was super excited about that. So that was pretty cool for them to, like I said, I think it's really cool that they brought about all these people. Yeah, maybe there was a little bit low on the matches, but I thought it was really cool that, we're getting a chance to say thank you to all these people for 25 years of entertainment. Next, Miz interrupts that, of course, and then we have Intercontinental title match between Miz and Roman Reigns. Oh man, I love this match. I am a huge fan of The Miz. I love his persona. He's got the right attitude. He's got the right personality to be big in the WWE. He's just one of these guys that, he has it. He's still got to do some work, I think, maybe to be at the very, very top. with his in-ring performances, but I am loving what he does overall. Perfect kayfabe. Go look at his Twitter. Go look at his Instagram, and he's calling people out on there in the way nobody else is doing social media like The Miz is right now. But anyways, this match was a really good match too. I mean, again, even though there wasn't a lot, I felt like this would have been a great match to see live. Both wrestlers putting on big moves against each other. Superman punch and everything here. Finally, at the end, though, The Miz. And they missed this during the broadcast. I wish they would have caught it while the match was going on, because they didn't mention it until after the match was over. They replayed it and go, "Oh yeah, look, we missed this, and look what happened." But during the match, The Miz took off the cover on the middle turnbuckle, and so this is how he won the match, by throwing Roman Reigns' head into that unprotected metal there from the turnbuckle, and then boom, The Miz puts on does the finisher, puts him to sleep, wins, gets the Intercontinental title back. And I'm glad for The Miz there. I'm glad he's a champion. He deserves to be a champion with the way he performs and cuts promos. And that was that match. That was really fun to watch. Next, we had the Alexa Bliss promo. Charlotte interrupts her and brings out Ric Flair. That was really fun to see. Woo! Anytime you see Ric Flair, it's a good time. Next up, we had a female superstar promo where they, brought out all the former WWE female superstars, Hall of Famers. Trish Stratus, Jacqueline, Tori Wilson. That was cool to see them again, see all these people out on stage from the past. Next, after that, we had an Elias and a Jericho promo. So Jericho didn't get to do a lot on this show. I mean, he had some really big Raw moments in the past, but it was, again, cool to see him on Raw. Raw 25, yeah, he didn't get to do a lot, but he was there. He did get to cut a promo, and he performed well for what he was asked to do, so that was good. Then after that, we had Elias go out in the ring, cutting a promo. John Cena comes out and interrupts, and then Elias, by the end of this, promptly hits John Cena with the guitar, which he deserved. I'm a big fan of Elias. I think he's a great up-and-coming guy. Love his character. This is another guy I really like his attitude. Haven't seen a lot of him myself with his performances. I've watched a few of his matches, and I like what he does in the ring as well. But just his whole attitude, the whole character persona, he pulls it off well. I hope they get more for him to do, because I walk with Elias. Next up, we had AJ Styles cut a promo with Mean Gene Okerlund. That was a lot of fun to see Mean Gene there. Oh man, that guy is looking really old. I don't know what his age is, but yeah, you could tell that he's old. But it was good to see him back in there. Even though he was an announcer, he didn't have a lot to say during the promo during this one, even though that's what he has done in the past. But again, it was just cool to see him there. It was fun to have a celebration. After that, we had DX promo. Man, this is another one that brought me back to my young days, getting to see DX with Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, Triple H, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn comes out, X-Pac, Razor Ramon. Oh, that was cool. That was cool to see them all come out and, just acting like it was back in the old days, back when DX was like the big club. And speaking of clubs, Balor Club comes out and interrupts the celebration. Then the Revival comes out and interrupts what's going on. And, everybody has a big old fight in Balor Club. And DX, they all beat up on the Revival. And I liked seeing that. you got to see all the DX members put on their finishing moves to the guys from the Revival, and that was just a good time. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Then next up, Kurt Angle cuts promo. They bring out all the wrestlers from the back to, try to keep things safe if they need to, because Braun Strowman, Kane, and Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman come out, but nothing can keep them apart. They all have a fight. Braun Strowman put Brock Lesnar through a table, and that was the end of the show, and that was pretty fun. Now, Raw 25, overall, was it the greatest Raw that I've ever seen? No, it wasn't the greatest Raw show I've ever seen. This was to celebrate all the greatest things that we saw on Raw, and celebrate all the people that made Raw the greatest show and longest running show that there is on TV right now. But overall, I thought it was a good show. I do listen to Stone Cold's Unleashed podcast, and since you're listening, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you said you heard the criticisms, and I have as well. I'm with you. I don't exactly agree with all of them. I thought the show was great, but you did ask on your podcast what could have been better about it, and I will tell you the one thing that could have been better. In fact, I wouldn't have changed anything about the show. He could have had all the same exact performances, but one thing could have made it better. The end of the show, that was cool. The way, DX was there, and then you had the little big fight between guys there at the end. But again, Mr. Austin, I think what the point of the show was celebrating the last 25 years. And you and Vince McMahon stole the show. I mean, that was the best feeling I had during that show all night, bringing back all those great memories of Raw, and the way they made me feel, like when I was a kid. That was a lot of fun watching you two perform together in the ring once again after however many years it's been since you guys have done that. So what I would have liked to see, the only change I would have liked to see, is that should have been the show closer. I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys stole the show. You two stole the show. Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what everybody wants to remember. That is what everybody does remember who was around during those times. Even the kids who are watching nowadays, like people with kids, those are the shows that they're showing the kids to be like, this is what it was like when I was a kid. This is what I remember watching growing up. This was what it used to be like. So that's what everybody wants to see. I felt like that should have been the end of the show, ending on a high note like that, being like, oh yes, those were the good memories. You could have saved that for the end, after you have a great show, you had all the performances you had, even if you still wanted to end with Braun Strowman, Kane, and Brock, that being the last really ring there after Braun Strowman slams Brock Lesnar through the table. You could have cleaned things up a little bit, boom. Then at the end of the show, you have Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon come out and say at the end of the show, thank you guys for coming out, and also thank you for the last 25 years. This has been a great show. One last thing, we want to bring out our father, Vince McMahon, and he wants to say one last time, thank you guys all for the last 25 years. And then, when everybody thinks like, oh, okay, this is going to be in the show, boom, the guy, the showstopper, the big attraction, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, gives a stunner to everybody, gives the double birds, drinking the beers, tossing them in the air. That should have been the end of the show. To leave us with that high note on the way out. But overall, I still really liked Raw 25. It was fun to watch. And overall, it was a great week of wrestling. So I had a lot of fun watching. Andrea did as well. Again, she's feeling sick, so I'm flying solo for the episode here. I didn't go over Royal Rumble yet because she is going to join me shortly for a Royal Rumble. We're just going to go over the matches that are going to be there and have some predictions and what we think might happen during the Royal Rumble. So that's going to be coming up next, though. So thank you again, guys, for watching. And then I'm just mentioning here again real quick. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We have a Gmail. It's That's Good Stuff. And that's a MMM. That's Good Stuff. Look us up on all those things. Twitter, Instagram. The email is at gmail.com. So that's good stuff at gmail.com. We're going to have this up, all this stuff up on audio on the Anchor podcast app. Anchor has a great call-in thing as well, so if you want to, call in and leave us messages, please do that, and you could get featured on the show. Also, obviously we're on YouTube, so go ahead and leave us some comments. We're going to try to respond to as many things as we can, guys. Again, I'm a long-time lover of wrestling. My wife, Andrea, she's new to it. I introduced it to her, when I started watching WrestleMania again last year, and from that point on, been watching every week. And, but other than that, we really are looking for some feedback so we can have a community of all you guys out there to enjoy wrestling with us and talk about it with us. So look us up on all those things. Again, thank you guys for watching and listening and, participating. All right, thank you guys for checking out Smart Mania. Thank you. All right, thank you, Andrea, for joining me on Smart Mania. I know you're not feeling good, so appreciate you joining me here.
Well, I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, great. So, we're going to go through everything we watched this week. You did watch Raw 25 with me. You watched SmackDown Live with me, and you just finished watching NXT Takeover with me. You enjoyed everything you watched so far?
Yes.
All right. Well, tomorrow we got the Royal Rumble. That's the big thing. That's the thing you're here to talk to me about. And we're just going to talk about some predictions we got going on. So tomorrow is the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I'm excited. Are you excited?
Of course I'm excited. It's the Royal Rumble, baby. Do you know what a Royal Rumble is?
I assume it's... Are they fighting for championships or something?
This is for a chance to fight for the championship. So in a Royal Rumble, it's 30 competitors total. They'll be coming in one at a time. I believe it's every 90 seconds. The first guy comes out, then every 90 seconds after that, a new guy comes into the ring. And if you get thrown over the top rope, you are eliminated. And then at the end, whoever's the last person in the ring without being thrown out over the top rope, they're the winner, and then they get to wrestle for the championship at the next WrestleMania.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes, and so what's really exciting this year, too, is not only are we going to have the regular men's Royal Rumble, but this year we're getting the women's Royal Rumble as well.
Oh, yeah, the first one.
First one ever. Same match as the men. Same rules apply to them, so that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. But let's go over Royal Rumble real quick here so that you can get yourself all better from the cold you have.
Okay.
But thank you for joining me. We got... So I'm just going to go over some other matches that we have in the Royal Rumble. Bobby Roode is going to defend his championship, his WWE United States Championship. The competitor is to be decided at this point, so we don't know who's doing that. There's going to be a tag team match between Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. We're also going to see a six-man tag team match that is going to feature Kalisto, Lince Dorado, Grand Metalik, and versus TJP, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, and Drew Gulak.
I don't know who any of those guys are.
Most of these guys, well, you know who Bobby Roode is, but this other one from the six-man tag team match you're talking about, yeah, you probably don't know those guys. Those are guys that are kind of, they're not at the top of the heap here. These are actually the three matches I just named there. Those are going to be the preliminary matches, which means those are the matches that happen before the main show. Those are kind of like the warm-up matches leading up to the main events. Then once we get into the main event, we are going to have the men's Royal Rumble match. Then the women's Royal Rumble match. We are going to have Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman versus Kane in a triple threat match for the WWE Universal Championship. I'm going to be excited for that as well. I'm a big fan of Braun Strowman, so I hope he's winning that one. Who do you think is going to win that match?
I think Braun Strowman as well.
Oh yeah, that's who I'm hoping for.
Pretty awesome.
He is pretty awesome, big strong dude.
Yeah.
Then we also have AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match for the WWE Championship. What do you predict is going to happen for that?
I'm going to say that AJ Styles.
Me too. I hope he wins. You know what? I don't really like this whole angle that they got going on here with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fighting for, a championship thing against AJ Styles. It's kind of, I'm ready for AJ Styles to beat them and get this angle over with.
Yeah.
So they can move on to something else. And then we're also going to have Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Who do you think is going to win that?
Gosh. I don't think I care for any of them.
Yeah, same here. I really like Seth Rollins. I like Cesaro and Sheamus. I think they're good wrestlers and they're good villains.
Yeah.
They're good heels. I'm just not a big fan of the whole Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan being on the team right now. I know they have to because Dean Ambrose hurt his arm and he's out for a long period of time. So I guess that's why they're doing it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, so I don't know. I'm almost hoping that Cesaro and Sheamus win the championship so they can get rid of Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan being a team, but I don't think that's going to happen. I bet you they're going to stay a team and we're just going to have to follow this storyline that I'm not a big fan of for a while longer, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We're also going to see the Usos go against Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in the best 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Okay.
What do you think about that one? Who do you think is going to win?
I can't recall who any of those people are.
We just watched them
So I just
fight
watched it.
On SmackDown, so that was, the 2 twins,
Oh.
and then they're fighting against the 2 guys that, look like they're, real, like, one of them supposedly was, a real wrestler, like a collegiate-style wrestler, amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I want to say the twins.
Yeah, the Usos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to win, too. In fact, I hope they win. Like I said, I've said to you off mic here that I love the Usos. I think they're some of the best performers in WWE right now. I love what they're doing in the ring, out of the ring. They seem like they work really hard on their craft. So I've enjoyed all the matches that I've watched with them since I got back on the wagon here and watching WWE. Okay, but here's what we're really here for. We want to know the Royal Rumble. So in the men's Royal Rumble match, these are the people that we know that are going to be in the Royal Rumble so far, the men's Royal Rumble. 18 out of the 30 slots have been announced. We have Elias, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena, Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, Aiden English, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, The Miz, Ty Dillinger, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Roman Reigns. Those are all guys who are confirmed. They are going to be in the Royal Rumble. That's 18 out of 30. 12 slots are, as of right now, going to be a surprise when they make their entrance into the ring. That's just going to be, boom, that 90 seconds is going to hit. Boom, you'll hear their entrance music and you'll be like, oh my gosh, he's in there too. But so out of the guys that you see here, who would you say is your favorite to win? Or if you think there's going to be a surprise guy that you know of that's going to be in, who would you think is going to be the winner?
I'm going to root for Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way they go. I mean, with the angle where he was just the Intercontinental Champion, but he just beat the Miz just beat him at Raw 25 to take the Intercontinental Championship back. Now Roman Reigns doesn't have a championship, so that kind of frees him up to go after something else. So I think maybe that's what they'll do. For me, out of the people that are listed here, I would actually be a big fan of The Miz winning, because I actually really I'm loving The Miz, what he does. I don't know if he's quite ready to be the biggest title holder in the world right now. But hey Blaine, come here.
Yeah?
Come here.
What?
Here's our, come sit down right here. Here's our 6-year-old son. He's supposed to be sleeping in bed right now, but it looks like he got up. Come join us real quick. Go ahead, say hi, Blaine.
Hi.
Are you going to watch the Royal Rumble with me tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you say yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Do it. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. Love you, dude. Get back to bed.
Okay.
Okay, there's a guest appearance from our son there, our 6-year-old. But yeah, like I was saying, I'd be a real big fan of The Miz winning just because I love The Miz, but maybe he's not going to hold that title yet. But one day, I hope he does.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's 12 guys that we don't know about. I bet there's going to be some guys from NXT that show up. We just watched NXT Takeover. We just finished watching it. You know, if they had like that guy Velveteen Dream, if he ended up in the Royal Rumble, I'd root for him.
Right.
He was fun to watch. And Aleister Black, I like that guy too. So we'll see what happens and who the surprise entrants are going to be. You know, I'm sure they'll bring back some people from the past as well. So I'm excited just to see who those guest appearances might be. But that's the men's side of the Royal Rumble. Let's go over to the women's side of the Royal Rumble. Again, like I know I'm very excited for this. It's exciting time for, you know, women's sports and entertainment, especially with WWE, what they got going on right now, having their first women's Royal Rumble ever, and having it the same rules as the men, keeping everything equal. I love that. Let's see who we have. Same thing with women here. We have 18 people confirmed. Other 12 are unannounced as of right now. They'll be the surprise guests. For now, we have Naomi, Asuka, Ruby Riott, Natalya, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Tamina, Lana, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Alicia Fox, and Dana Brooke. Out of those, who do you think is going to win the women's championship?
I think Asuka.
No, not the women's championship, the women's
Right.
Royal Rumble.
I'm rooting for Asuka.
I'm also rooting for Asuka. She's one of my favorite women wrestlers right now. Overall, I like her physicality with the way she performs in the ring. So it'd be really cool to see her not only in the Royal Rumble, but to win the first Royal Rumble and know that she was getting the shot at the at a WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. I like her.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
I
She's
like
a good performer.
Just her presence too.
Yeah.
She has amazing presence.
Yeah. Don't know who surprise people might be. Again, we'll probably see some people from NXT come over and make the jump up. If we just watched the NXT Takeover, I'd really like to see the NXT current champion make an appearance in the Women's Royal Rumble. Ember Moon, I'm a big fan of her. I've only I don't watch NXT that much, but the couple times I have watched it and watched her perform, she's another one that I'm a big fan of because she seems like she's not just like a good woman wrestler. Like she seems like she's just like it wouldn't matter who you pitted her against, man or woman, she'd be a top performer.
Yeah.
Like that's why I really like her and Asuka. Like they're fun to watch. But yeah, that's gonna be the Royal Rumble. I'm excited to watch it with you tomorrow. I hope you feel better soon, honey, and
Thank you.
get over your cold and your throat
I
starts
hope
feeling
so,
better.
too.
That way you can, talk and it won't hurt to talk.
Right.
Go drink a big glass of water.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Love you.
Love you too.